Hello, I'm Ashley and welcome to my space here. This is going to be my extended reading for the week of June 23rd through the 29th. But I would like to mention that whenever you come across this or whenever you find this, that the date does not apply. So if the messages resonate for you, if the message speaks to you, and it feels like it's meant for you, then it's still meant for you regardless of the date. So I just want to mention that. So if you're here from reading the blog, then thank you for reading and welcome to my YouTube space here. So I love to do YouTube readings tarot readings, and I love to just connect with my angels and my guides. So I want to remind you that it's really important to connect with your own intuition above all else. You can start by asking a question or connecting to your own guidance system, your own guides, your own angels. You can ask a question out loud or in your mind. Keep a lookout for synchronicities like signs or words, or I work with spirit animals, so I mention those a lot. And I want to remind you that gender does not apply here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because the first two cards that I pulled for the week, which if you read the blog, you already saw the two cards that I posted. You can also check out my Instagram, which I posted there. I'll leave all the information below, especially because you're going to want to read the blog for more messages. So the first two cards that I pulled were, this is the Two of Swords that came out. So the Two of Swords represents kind of this back and forth energy, or like a stalemate, or being stuck, stagnant energy, at a crossroads is what the first thing that came up for me in the reading, the written reading that I posted on my blog, was this energy of indecision. And kind of what I was feeling right away is this, you actually have really clear guidance, and because the card that I pulled with it to clarify was strategy. So right away it felt like you have the plan, you have the strategy, you know what it is, but your ego kind of comes in and kind of confuses you or makes you question yourself or second guess your own knowing, your own intuition. So really this is an energy, or it felt like a week of really learning how to listen to our intuition, to follow our hearts. You see how on this card her arms are kind of crossed over her heart and she's blindfolded. So it's not seeing clearly, but really needing to listen to the intuition over the logic. There's this idea of what I was picking up on was the strategy or the plan might be out of the box, or it might be different, or it might require you to step out of your comfort zone. It's this energy of you are free, but first we have to free ourselves mentally and emotionally before we actually begin to see our freedom reflected in our external world. This could be freedom of health, freedom of finances, freedom of love, freedom of emotions, letting yourself freely express yourself. And that's what I feel a lot of people are really on the fence about. That's kind of the energy is here. It's on the fence, do I want to, do I not want to? One minute I do, and then the next minute I'm talking myself out of it. So I was picking up right away on self-sabotage with the Two of Swords here. Like I said, it's having you, Spirit was saying repeatedly to me as I was writing out, as I was channeling the message, that you already know the plan. It's you're trying to figure out the plan, you're trying to logically figure out the plan, but Spirit is saying that the plan is actually a lot more intuitive, and the plan is a lot more flexible, and you're a lot more in control of the plan than you believe. Some people believe that destiny is life is just printed out for me, and I must follow, it's this energy of following the rules. I have to follow the rules. And but Spirit is saying your soul is urging you to follow your heart, to dream big, to fly, to dream bigger than you ever have before. But that feeling of feeling trapped, or feeling bound or tied down, or limited, or that there's not enough, or all these lore-based limited beliefs are more familiar, so it feels comfortable to stay in this energy of stuckness because you know what to expect, and you're used to feeling stuck. But feeling free makes you feel different or weird, or maybe even overwhelmed because it's very unfamiliar. So really learning how to tame your egoic thoughts this week and really be more in tune with your emotions. You see how her back is even turned to her, the water, and the water to me always represents emotions, and I was really drawn to the water on this card. It's actually raining. It's been raining all day. It's a beautiful rainy day here. So I'm picking up closely to the water. I was picking up on needing to connect with water, taking salt baths, which I mention a lot here because I'm a big fan. I take one multiple times a week to clear my energy. It's literally an energy healing. It's part of my self-care routine to clear my energy field. and to find and I was also picking up on fishing, so that might be a message for you as well, to be near water or to go for a walk and like just be near the water. It's like this energy of needing like peace and quiet as a way to execute your plan or to execute your strategy. Like rather than listening to the voices of the ego or listening to the voices of other people, what you really need to do is go within. And that's kind of why I see she's blindfolded here. She needs to go within. She needs to listen to her heart. She needs to listen to her emotions, so that she comes out of this like crossroads, or this is like a card of like confusion, because like I said, she's blindfolded and her heart's kind of closed off. So to me it feels like, yeah, like this energy of back and forth between the heart and the mind this week. So like your heart, like you might feel like very strong urges and very strong like intuitive nudges that are like so clear to you, you just like can't even believe them. Or you might receive signs and synchronicities that are like so unbelievable, you like can't even believe that like your heart is calling you in this direction. But then at the same time, your mind wants to come in and be like, there's no way this is possible. Like your limiting beliefs are just being highlighted this week. And can we like, and I was picking up on this energy of resistance and how water takes the path least resistant, you know? So rather than like trying to fight, like I can't be in this, like some people, like if you're in the emotion of grief right now, I just have experienced a great loss myself. And so sometimes when we're in that energy of grief, or we're in that energy of loss, or our abandonment wounds are being triggered, or any of our wounds are being triggered, or we're just having like a hard day mentally, like instead of like saying to yourself like, I need to get out of this, I'm not supposed to be feeling this, like this isn't right, you know, like to me all of our emotions are valid. So you can't be in grief and at the same time being like, this isn't okay, this isn't okay. That's resistance. You're resisting the grief rather than experiencing the grief. And like I was saying, expressing it. Like how can you, I was picking up on connecting to your creativity this week. It's Cancer season. That's why I was picking up on the water, and Cancer's element is water. So really being in our emotions and learning how to, so instead of like, a lot of people believe that grief is like, you could get stuck in it, kind of like this energy, like you're just stuck in grief, and we can kind of become victims of like loss or like things like that. And so we can get really trapped in this feeling of grief, and we can either stay stuck in this energy of grief by continuously resisting it and saying, I shouldn't be feeling this, like I want to get out of this feeling, I don't want to feel this feeling anymore. Instead of being in that energy, we have to meet it with love and meet it with grace and say, hello, I'm accepting you, grief. I see that your grief is really just a deep connection to love, and like really accepting it. And then when you feel those emotions, then the next step is to express them. So that's what I was feeling, is like a lot of people are on the fence or back and forth about how they want to express themselves. Like one minute they're wanting to express themselves, the next they're like relying more on their defense mechanisms to protect them emotionally, or to so they get really defensive, or they withdraw. So it's like this energy of going back and forth. Like one minute you're like feeling really deeply immersed into your emotions and you're like feeling supported of them, but like then you might resist certain emotions. Like you might accept the emotions of like excitement of your future, but then you know you might have feelings of grief, of loss, of like grieving, not even if you've lost a certain person in your life, like I'm experiencing, but like grieving that old part of yourself, that old because like I was picking up greatly on change, and a lot of us are wanting change, but we need a strategy for change so that we can execute it, so we can just, stay on track, like with what the things that we want, so we can continue to evolve, we can continue to change, we can continue to create the life that we desire, rather than just being stuck. Because a lot of people might feel stuck. If you feel stuck this week, then that's okay. Feel stuck. Embrace the stuckness. What is it that you're actually feeling stuck? Most of us are just stuck in our own mental traps, which the swords represent the mind. And that's what I was kind of saying, is like your ego might keep you trapped because it's what it knows. It's always felt really bound. And so what we're really learning how to do collectively, in my opinion, is free ourselves from our minds first, and telling ourselves like we are capable, like we know the answers, like we have all the answers, everything we need is within us. Rather than like searching on the outside, and we're like always searching, and we feel this energy of like scarcity and lack, and like poverty consciousness is another thing I'm picking up on that we're healing collectively, like moving out of this energy that we deserve to be like stuck and not growing. But it's like our like the soul is meant to expand and it's meant to grow. So if a soul is ready to expand, but the person on the outside, because I was picking up on people like wanting to shift their focus, or to like be more assertive and make more decisive decisions about the direction of their life, like, and this could be related, I was picking up strongly on like health, and I was picking up strongly on like finances. So like really taking more control of your finances, like being more decisive, So I was picking up on like father healing, because that's a very strategic energy to me. Like our father's, like the masculine energy within us all, is supposed to teach us how to be like strategic and how to take action and how to execute and like how to plan and how to, you know, especially with finances, or to especially take care of our health and to take action and to make sure we have a plan in place for our health, like a healthcare routine and like, and just like the, you know, like, or like a budget. That was another thing, like really learning how to do those things for yourself. And there's like a lot of father healing around that. So like really looking at where your father taught you about finances, or if he didn't at all, like that lack of, where can you like make decisions to help yourself rather than staying stuck. That's kind of it. And in both areas, like what, maybe it's your mental health, maybe it's not your physical health, but maybe you need to make a diet change, and that is what your masculine energy is teaching you how to do, to like make a plan, to stick to a plan, so that you can, you know, it's about really being like the most elevated version of yourself, the best version of yourself. So it's not about being completely healed. It's just about like, where can I take steps every time I feel trapped or stuck in any way? Where can I take a step to free myself? So sometimes, you know, taking back control of our health makes us feel very free, or taking back control of our mental health helps us to feel more emotionally free, and then we can express ourselves. And when we begin to express ourselves in new ways, and that really releases this energy of like feeling stuck. So it's not always necessarily you have to like take and exert so much action. Sometimes all you have to do is express yourself more, and then that is the action, like expressing your emotions more. Because this could be like a card of like denying them. You see how she's like I said, she's blindfolded and she's crossing off her heart. Like, I don't want to feel my heart right now. I don't want to open my heart. Like, and this is an energy, like I was saying, like healing the father wound and healing our like masculinity within is like, you know, men are so scared to be like vulnerable and to express themselves out of fear of like, you know, being rejected or being abandoned, like, and this stems from their own mother wound as well. So like Cancer represents like our mother healing. So Cancer, the element of Cancer, the sign of Cancer asks us to, you know, look at our mother wound. Where can we be more self-loving? Where can we be more self-caring? Like, how can we tend to ourselves rather than like I was saying, like people wanting to resist their emotions, or to resist those lower base emotions that are heavy and aren't very comfortable. Like, can you care for yourself in those uncomfortable emotions rather than like pushing against them? Because then you're going to create more. And the more you build up, the more stuck you're going to feel on the inside, because your emotions need to flow. They need to get out. They need to be released. And you'll begin to feel that like, oh, like if I just begin to feel more, I begin to feel like I'm flowing more, because you're more connected to your feminine energy. You're more connected to your divine feminine energy that allows for you to, you know, be flexible, and you don't have to be stuck in one emotion. And like a lot of people just get up every morning and they're just in their mind. They're in their logic every day, and they're just. But what Spirit is also teaching us here with this strategy is how to strategize from your heart space, because, you know, how to come up with a plan that's not like I'm hearing like somebody is like coming up with a plan, but then like, and they're dreaming big, and they're, you know, but then their ego, like, so it's just like, be aware, be conscious of your ego every time it wants to come in and it wants to try to limit you, or it wants to try to put you down, or it wants to try to make you like self-doubt, or just like fears that come up, or like tell you like that's impossible, or like a lot of people are like, I have all these dreams and I have this purpose and I feel this mission within me that's being activated, but I don't feel like I have the means to create it or to make it possible. And so a lot of people will stay stuck because they just believe that, like, you know, if you have a purpose, you know, if you feel drawn to like really doing something, then there will always be a way made. There will always be a way made for you. You know, like the divine will always make a way for you, but a lot of the times, like, we don't take the step because we want to have the whole picture and we want to have the whole landscape before. And this is like our very masculine energy, but the divine masculine energy, he also trusts his intuition. So when the divine masculine, he takes action from this place of, from his heart center. So it's really important for men to make decisions from their heart center, and women, you know, because we take action. When we take action, we're still taking action as women from our masculine part of ourselves. So we all have masculine and feminine energies within ourselves. And when we really heal our intuition, it really helps us to take decisive action from this place of intuitive knowing, which your intuitive knowing, your divine guidance is always going to lead you in your highest path. So if you're following your intuition and you're making decisions and you're taking action from your intuition, then you can trust, which is the feminine energy, that you're being led in the right direction, even if you can't see the whole picture, even if you can't see how it's going to play out, even if you can't see the end result. You can still trust yourself to move forward because you're listening to a guidance that's higher than you, that's always looking out for you, that wants the best for you. So kind of think of it like our Father, but it's like our divine Father, like God, or whatever you call it, source. There's lots of different words for God, and whatever resonates for you. I use the word God, but it's like listening to that inner Father, that divine Father. That's another word for God. And like really learning how to take action from our heart space leads us in the most, like, because if we can trust that we will be successful if we're being guided by something that wants the best for us, then that's the part, is we have to believe that, you know, we're worthy of that. We're worthy of the success. We're worthy of our highest, fullest, most expression of ourselves. So also I picked up number 3, might be a synchronicity for you, because this is 20 or 21. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And also, sorry, the card kind of glares there, but there's a feather on here. There's a journal log. So journaling might be important to express your emotions, to express your feelings. There's a compass. There's a telescope. There's some coins over here. And then there's like music notes on this piece of paper here. Excuse me. And then there's a lock and a key. So all those might be like messages for you. I love the feathers. Feathers, I always receive those as synchronicities, like from my angels telling me I'm on the right path. So look out for signs and synchronicities. Like I said, you might not believe that how accurate they are. Like I said, you are receiving clear guidance, like that divine guidance. All you have to do is learn how to act from that and trust that. Because like I was feeling like, in order to get ourselves out of like this stuck energy, we might have to do things that are a little bit different or a little bit out of the box. And so the guidance that you receive might seem different, or it might seem like, it's not going to seem logical. It might seem like a little bit different, or it might seem a little bit weird, or even like lighthearted. I'm even picking up on like childlike. And so this might make you be like, oh no, I can't trust this. But really what we're learning how to trust is our inner child again. And it's our inner child that's connected to presence, and it's presence that's connected to all that is. So really we're learning how to come back and make decisions from our heart space rather than from like our reptilian ego mind. That's always like, because our ego mind, if we're living in our ego, our nervous system we're thinking the same thoughts over and over again. So a lot of us might be stuck in pessimistic, negative thoughts that, keep you feeling stuck. So when we can begin to change those thoughts, then we don't feel stuck anymore. We could be in the same position, but thinking new thoughts. And where we once felt stuck, now we feel free. But the only thing that has changed, maybe nothing has changed in your external environment, but within you, you have changed, and you're perceiving everything from a new state of mind. And you can literally be free being in the same position, but just by, shifting your perspective. And as you shift, because I'm picking up that right away here, shift your perspective. And see that, because like everything is within you. Like a lot of people wait to like follow their dreams and follow their heart until, they have enough money, or until the conditions outside of them are just right or perfect, and then people end up dying and never following their hearts because they're still waiting for the outside condition to change before they make a change, and to listen to their hearts and to follow their hearts and take a risk. And this was underneath the deck. I just want to share this before I shuffle and tell you what's going on behind the scenes and what the advice is for the week. So I know I got a little chatty and long-winded there, but a lot of messages coming through. And this is saying to take a risk, to take a leap of faith, to trust in the unknown, to follow your heart regardless of what anybody outside of you is saying. Like this is saying, like, I keep hearing like you don't have to follow the crowd. Like do things in your own way. And that's actually what's going to make you, because I was picking up on this energy of like wanting to lead. So like I said, there's more information in the blog post, which I'll leave below. And in order to like lead, we have to lead from our heart centers. And in order to lead, we have to learn how to lead ourselves. And what we're really learning how to do is how to be our own leaders. If you think about it, that's the divine masculine energy within us. Every person has their own leader within them. So if we can connect to that internal leader and begin to make decisions from there, then we, like, this is a card of like indecision and like being indecisive and like I said, kind of going back and forth. So when we get more in tune to our inner leader, then we make clear-cut decisions based in our heart spaces that really leads us to our highest path. So sometimes the strategy isn't so much like a perfect detailed plan of everything that's going to happen. Sometimes the strategy is having a very clear vision of what you deeply desire, and then acting in alignment with that. So if you can act in alignment with that throughout your day and in your mundane tasks, like if you can act from that place of alignment and feeling, like maybe you want to be really successful, or maybe you want love, maybe you want to be in a relationship, so like, can you embody that feeling of already being in a relationship without being in a relationship during your mundane tasks? Can you go about your daily life embodying the energy of love? Or can you go about your daily life doing your daily tasks, brushing your teeth, taking a shower from the embodiment of fulfillment, from like feeling whole and successful and fruitful and financially secure and supported? Because financial abundance comes from the frequency of feeling supported. So can you embody the energy of support throughout your entire day? Can you feel supported? And most often, how I've had to shift my mindset and my energetic beliefs around like finances is believing that I am supported. And how I did that was have to rely on my spiritual support, relying on my intuition, relying on my guides, feeling supported by them, feeling supported by a higher force, feeling supported by my faith, feeling supported by my my gifts, my spiritual gifts. And that really helped me to feel like, oh wow, I'm super supported. Like I am, anytime I need support from my angels or from my guides, or every time I need help, all I have to do is ask, and that helps me feel really supported. And that really begins to shift your frequency, and you begin to, align with this feeling of, I already have all my needs met. I'm already supported. Even if on the outside, even if your external environment is not reflecting it, you have to be able to hold that vibration within yourself. And that's really, to me, the law of attraction. So you can't wait for external and like outside conditions to change before you hold your anchor and hold your alignment of that success. Even if you don't look successful to the outside, can you still feel successful within? Can you still use your thoughts to generate thoughts and feelings of success? Can you envision success even if you're sitting at your table, eating dinner, like doing the most mundane thing? So anyway, what is going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing clearly, Spirit? Okay, yes, I love this. 9 of Pentacles. So I love this card. This is a card of like sensuality. This is a card of independence and like feeling really good on your own. This is kind of what I was feeling like. This is the card energy of like success and victory and like having all your needs met. Like look at, she's like in this field where there's like grapes growing and like it's very fruitful, but she's all on her own. And this is the card of like feeling really, like I said, independent, but it's like you feel supported. That's just like the energy of abundance. This is gratitude. This is appreciation. That's what I see when I see this card all the time. It's like being more grateful. Like, can I be grateful for all the things I have? Like, look how much stuff I have in my garden. Like, being grateful for all that you have now. Like, too many of us are always like, we're healing this, I believe. And like I said, I think this is really deeply connected to the masculine energy, is that we could really put our sense of value and our sense of self-worth onto like our productivity and how much we produce and how much we have in the external world. Like if I have all these things, like if I have this house, if I have all these clothes, if I have all these toys, if I have all these things in the external world, then people will think that I am valuable. People will see me a certain way. But can you, if you had nothing, can you see yourself as valuable and prosperous and that you have everything you need? It's just all within you. Even if you don't have what you want on the outside, can you still align with this energy of feeling very fruitful and feeling very independent and feeling very strong and feeling very, this is a card of self-reliance and feeling like I can depend on myself. I can be there for myself. I can take care of myself. One thing that I love about myself now is that like I love to take care of myself. One thing, I was a very codependent person, and the opposite of this card is codependency. So you struggle with like codependency and like feeling like you need things outside of you to validate you or to make you feel good or to make you feel a certain way. Like sometimes it could be like shopping or like spending money makes you feel good about yourself, even if it's just for a brief second. Like we have these symptoms sometimes that are in our body, because this is a card of me to sensuality and connecting deeply to your body and feeling like in tune to your body. And when we feel like little aches and pains, or or if we're feeling stressed out or like we're mentally taxed, we tend to go to those little fixes, those quick fixes, like it's a cigarette or like a drink after work, or too many ho-hos, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, like you go to like food to make you feel good, or you go to, you go shopping to make yourself feel good. But really what we need to do is see these aches and pains, or these discomforts, or these uncomfortable feelings that we're feeling. We need to tend to them, and that's what the Nine of Pentacles to me. She like tends to her garden, and her garden is her body and her mind. And so when she really tends to her mind and she builds herself up, because this is a card of confidence to me. The Nine of Pentacles is so like feeling very confident, building your confidence. A lot of us look to the outside, whether it be to a partner, whether it be to a job, whether it be to our bank account, whether it be to our friends to make us, or whether it be to our children to make us feel this sense of value, or that like we're worthy. But really what we need to, or like to give us confidence, or to give us like this sense of value. But really what we have to do is learn how to build ourselves up. And like maybe nobody built you up in childhood. Like, like our self-esteem, because this is the card of self-esteem to me, should be built in childhood. Like we should have, healthy examples of what it means to like believe in yourself, and to trust in yourself, and to take care of yourself, to support yourself, and to provide for yourself. And that's kind of the Queen of, she kind of reminds me of the Queen of Pentacles, which she's kind of is, but it's the Nine of Pentacles. So it's just like feeling really good on your own, where the Ten of Pentacles is like the whole big shebang, like the whole family, like you have more than, you're overflowing. But this is like feeling really like prosperous on your own, like feeling really good on your own. This is a card of like, like I said, independence, and feeling like you can provide for yourself. And I was picking up that right away, because I was speaking of like financial strategies, and like being able to like, like I was thinking like budget, and hearing the word budget there. So it's like really being able to rely on yourself to provide. And a lot of us have been taught to give our power away, and this is what we're really learning how to do, is take our power back, so that we can rely on ourselves to like take care of ourselves, whether this be health-wise, because like you really need to take care of your health. Like if you are codependent, you're dependent on food, or you're dependent on a substance, or you're dependent on people in order to make you feel good about yourself, what you really have to do is practice getting in tune with your sensuality, and really practice tending and caring to your body, taking time alone, being alone, maybe going out in a garden, or going out for a walk, or getting outside. You see she's connected to nature here. She's surrounded by nature, and there's even a little snail on here, because the Pentacles energy moves really slow. So this is a card of patience to me, and like learning how to be really patient, and like I said, being appreciative of all you already have. A lot of people, like I said, when we get too caught up in our future, and we're strategizing and we're planning our future, like we want to get so specific, but can you feel, it's like, instead of getting so like the mental aspect of it, like getting the feeling, can you embody the feeling of independence? Can you embody the feeling of health? What would it feel like to be really healthy in your mind, body, and soul? And can you begin to do those things? That's like the Nine of Pentacles, providing that for yourself, providing that self-care, providing that self-love, providing that emotional regulation, like regulating your emotions, getting in tune to your emotions, like taking care of your mental health. What can you get out in the quiet? Can you be alone? Can you be with your thoughts? Can you be in the stillness? Because what we're observing in nature is stillness most of the time. And what we're observing when we see that stillness in nature is we're observing that inner stillness within ourselves. And the more we connect to that inner stillness, the more we, can activate those feelings within ourselves. The feeling of peace, of being already fulfilled. Like we're always searching on the outside, like more, but how can you be happy with all that you have right here, right now? Okay, so let's get a clarifier there then. And then underneath this deck was the Archangel Gabriel in reverse, so the throat chakra, and I was feeling that with this expression here, like back and forth. 1 minute you want to express yourself, and the next you don't. So the more we get in tune to ourselves, and in tune to our bodies, in tune to our thoughts, in tune to our emotions, the easier it becomes to express ourselves, because we actually know what we're feeling. And this is like staying in your own lane, like focusing on your own healing, focusing on your own growth, like tending to your own garden. Like a lot of people, what they'll do is like, when they know they need to make change in their lives, they'll procrastinate, or they'll put it off, or they'll be like in denial. This is kind of a card of denial, by like seeking out other people that seemingly have worse problems than them, or that seemingly have a worse relationship than they do. And what they do is they'll be like, oh, well, this person's like way worse than I am. Like this person's way worse than I am, so then I don't have to do my healing. Like they'll seek out people as a way to avoid doing the work that they need to do in order to create the change. So it's like you're not better than anybody else. You have to really learn how to like tend to your own self, like rather than like a lot of people like just put off the work like and avoid doing it, and they'll just put their focus somewhere else. So they'll do it very like logically as a way to avoid their own healing and their own work. So to me, this is like focus on your own. You know, a lot of people, like, and a lot of women too, they want to like, they're savers or they're fixers, or, you know, they want to try to fix people because this is something they were taught in childhood. So what we're really learning to do collectively, especially as the feminine, is to really be more self-reliant, to rely on our own selves, to take care of ourselves, and to be, you know, the best version of ourselves possible. And then that's how we, you know, attract partners, one, that are the best match for us. If we're not if we're not in our best energy, if we're not the best version of ourselves, of course we're not going to attract somebody that's the best version of themselves. So you have to remember that if you want to be with someone that's the best version of themselves, then that's what you have to focus on becoming, is the own best version of yourself. And you can't fix or change or manipulate anything on the outside. If you want, you know, you can't make somebody heal. You can't make somebody else do the work. All you can do is lead by example and do your own healing, do your own inner work. And as you do that, you lead by example. And that's what our children need, you know. And I'm sorry, but that's what our men need as well. They need to be led by stronger women, in my opinion. And so they're teaching us by, a lot of men aren't standing in their power right now. A lot of men, there still are, I'm not denying that there aren't, but there's still a lot of men that are not standing in their power. And so the only way that we can teach men how to stand in their power is standing in our power. And the Nine of Pentacles is a card of empowerment, like really standing in your power. Like I said, taking care of yourself. And that's how we teach men, and that's actually how we should be teaching little boys how to take care of themselves, is by leading by example, by listening to our intuition, by, you know, trusting our intuition and taking action from our heart space to take care of our wellness, to take care of our health, to take care of our mental well-being, you know, to take care of our energy, to take care of our finances, you know, and to really empower ourselves. And as we do that, we teach them how to be in their power and how to do it from a place of open-heartedness, to be gentle and compassionate and loving and flexible and go with the flow and be understanding, compassionate, and empathize with people, so that we're not just like leading from this place of like, or like I was saying, like people want, like if they have all these things on the outside, that people will see them as like successful, because this is a card of like success and victory. Like if you have a yes or no question, the answer is yes. That's the Nine of Pentacles, in my opinion, is a yes card. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up there. So like not rely on the outside to give you this sense of value, but to really empower yourself by building yourself up with your thoughts and your emotions and your perspective. Okay, what else are we not seeing clearly with the Nine of Pentacles? Yang, yes, exactly. Take action. So when this card comes in the reverse, it is saying, you know, it's time to take action. And that is, it's exactly, take action on, you know, what makes you feel the most. It's funny because the healer that I found, when I started healing, she calls this her Beyonce card, and I'll never forget that, because it's just like feeling yourself, like doing you, what makes you feel like like a boss, what makes you feel powerful and badass, and like doing those things and taking action on them. So like, and I've watched Yoga with Adrienne, and she always says, do what feels good, you know, and like really start taking action on the things that make you feel good. If you're constantly doing things that make you feel stuck, or, you know, not good enough or unworthy, it's like really addressing those self-sabotaging behaviors and taking action to really empower yourself. And that's what I'm picking up there right away. That was very simple message. And this is also a card, we got 21 and then 22. So 22 might be a synchronicity for you. But yeah, it's just time to take action. And this is a card, take action on gratitude and abundance. And this is a card of beauty to me. I love the Nine of Pentacles. I'm getting so many messages with this. It's like seeking the beauty. Even if things seem ugly around you or chaotic, or, you know, just things are falling apart around you, can you seek the beauty? Can you find the beauty in anything? This is like the alchemist. I was just talking about people being in their power, and a lot of men not being in their power, but a lot of women, we're learning how to be in our power too. We're learning how to heal our masculine energy, which is what I've been picking up this whole time, and that's what Yang is. It's our masculine energy. So, yeah, an alchemist is like, an alchemist can take the negative and turn it into a positive. It can take something ugly and make it beautiful. It can take something, it can take hatred and turn it into love, you know. It can take fear and turn it into faith, you know, like fear. It can take doubt and turn it into trust. You know, it's an alchemist, so you can take the good, the bad, and turn it into something good. That's what alchemy is being able to, you know, transmute and be the light. And that's kind of the Nine of Pentacles. I mean, look how radiant she is here. That's the word I hear, radiance, luminosity, like being in your power. I'm picking up on Archangel Chamuel. I'm really standing in your power. He is the archangel connected to the solar plexus chakra, which is our power center. So you could really want to work on your core this week too, like do some core exercises, do some core workouts, like really exert that masculine energy. Repeat mantras like I am strong, I am confident, I am worthy, I am valuable, I am successful, I am brave, I am courageous. Like these are affirmations and this is how you literally replant your garden in your mind, you know, like by every time you want to think negatively about yourself, or you want to get down on yourself, or you want to doubt yourself, or you want to question yourself, you have to reprogram your mind by taking those thoughts and before they spiral, redirecting them into this prosperous garden and telling yourself like I am valuable, I am worthy. And like every time your thoughts want to wander, like just repeat affirmations that, you know, align with the feeling you're wanting. If you want to feel very successful, if you want to feel very independent, if you want to feel very sensual and connected and prosperous, then you have to shift your thoughts. You have to shift your focus so that you can begin to feel this in your body, because the pentacles represent the physical world. So really being connected to your body, being connected to your health, and being grateful for your body, because a lot of us, we take our bodies for granted. We don't realize, you know, how much they're doing for us all the time, and really taking the time to slow down, because there's a snail in the card, like slow down. In the pentacles, that it's earth energy, so it moves a little bit slower. And like I was saying, this is an energy of patience. And what I think a lot of young little boys needed from their mothers was more patience, more understanding, more empathy, more compassion, more grace. And I think that's in order to be that for our sons, so that they become better leaders that lead from their heart spaces, we have to be doing that as women. And I think it's really important to be in tune to our feminine energy, because it's our feminine energy. If your masculine energy is imbalanced, and like this could be like a masculine energy that's imbalanced, like not being decisive, not making a decision. So how can you help your masculine energy be more decisive? How can you be like, because this is a card of confidence, which I think I already said that before. Like, how can you build yourself up so that you can be sure of yourself and trust yourself enough to take action? But in order to help your masculine energy, what you really actually have to tend to is the opposite, which is your feminine energy. Being very nurturing, being very kind, being very compassionate, being very empathetic and loving towards your masculine energy, because the masculine energy might want to question itself, it might want to doubt itself, it might want to put itself down, it might want to call itself a failure. But can you be kind? Can you be gentle? Can you be compassionate and loving towards that part of yourself? And then as you do that, when you shift that inner dialogue and you begin to treat yourself with more kindness and more gentleness and more grace, and the more you trust yourself, the more you'll begin to take action from that place. And when you take action from that place, that's when you're, you know, taking action from this balanced place of masculine and feminine energy within you. Because if you see this card, it has like the yin and yang symbol, and it's like coming into harmony, coming into balance. So, and yeah, I love that. So let's go. What's your advice for us this week, Spirit? What was your advice for us this week? Okay, I'm going to take all three of these because they just feel relevant and they flipped over. No way, but the Fool ended up underneath the deck again, so that's funny. Obviously that wanted to show up. But okay, so this is the advice for the week. We had the Hanged Man, which I felt was perfect because it's like seeing things from a new perspective, which was the Two of Swords. And like you can be in the same situation if you feel stuck, and shift your perspective and be free, because guess what else came with that was this Eight of Swords. That is the advice, and that's what I felt right away with all three of these cards. It's like as soon, and because the Hermit also came out, so it's like if you can go within and shift your perspective, then you can free yourself, you know, because this is all mental. This is like feeling mentally trapped. So it's really about like and the feminine energy, like I was saying here, like tending to yourself, like tending to your self-care, to your own healing. Like meditation is what I think of when I think of the Hermit, like going within and really listening to your own inner wisdom. That's the Hermit, and it's represented by Virgo, so that might be a message for you. it's like really going within and retreating, listening to your inner wisdom, listening to your heart space, following your heart. And like I was saying, you might not have the whole plan with the strategy, and that's what I am reminded of when I see the hermit. Like, he can only see, he's in the dark of night, it's winter, it's cold, and all he has is this little lantern, so he can only see a couple feet ahead of him. He can't see the whole trail. And this is like a sabbatical, like going on a, like going within, going on a journey. That's kind of like the hermit card to me. So like I said, you might be going on a journey either externally, and maybe you can't see, where you're going to end up or how it's going to turn out, or, you can't predict every detail. Or you might be going on a journey within, and you're really like, you don't know where this inner healing is going to lead you. Like, because as you shift your perspective, you really begin to heal, your emotions. And as you begin to heal your emotions, you heal your energy body. And as you heal your energy body, you really shift like your DNA and like your ancestral programming and stuff like that. So really going within is very, very powerful. So it's like I'm picking up on two different things. Like, you could either be going on a journey within and needing to shift your perspective, or you're going on a journey externally and you need to like release the anxiety and fear and see it from a different perspective, like, and learn how to trust yourself by listening to your inner wisdom and following, your higher guidance. And as you do that, like I said, you might only be able to see a couple steps in front of you. But can you trust? I think that's kind of the advice there, is to learn how to see from a different perspective. Because then you free yourself. And like I said, sometimes you don't have to do anything externally to free yourself. All you have to do is free your mind. And when you free your mind, then your whole perspective changes. And you're just like, wow, oh my goodness. And that can be like the hermit. You could have like epiphanies, or like, just like, in meditation you can have like breakthroughs, or like that's when you like receive your strategy too, in my opinion, is in meditation, like really listening to your guidance. Because like I said, our guidance is going to come from like our highest self, so it's going to want us to do things that are, if we've been taught to be like very codependent, or we've been taught to rely on other people to make us feel a certain way, and now we're being taught, oh, well, you need to provide that emotional support for yourself, you need to provide that mental support for yourself, you need to provide, whatever for yourself. It's going to feel very difficult, because we're used to only feeling thoughts of love, only feeling thoughts of like admiration if it comes from outside of us. But to build ourselves up is going to feel really unfamiliar. Like, and we're going to want it to come from outside of us, but it's saying it has to come from within. You can't wait for something externally to free you. Like, because this is like savior mentality. Like I was saying, a lot of women have this. Like, they want to be saved, or they want to fix other people, rather than like, if you just focus on yourself and you focus on your own healing and you tend to your own garden and you plant those thoughts of prosperity and peace and wellness and love and joy and happiness, you plant those seeds within your mind with positive affirmations by going within, then you free yourself, and you don't need to be saved, or you don't need to be rescued. Like, it's like we're learning how to take our power back. Both men and women. Like, okay, what else is your advice with the Hanged Man, the Eight of Swords, and the Hermit? I'm going to take that one because it showed up underneath the deck earlier, which was Archangel Gabriel in reverse, the throat chakra in reverse. So yeah, I think like once you free yourself emotionally, once we free ourselves emotionally, we can begin to speak more openly and express ourselves more openly. When we do that, then we feel more free. Okay, let's get one more there though. What is your advice with Archangel Gabriel in reverse? No way, that's too funny. Indecision, and it's number 8, which is hilarious because that's totally what like this card is. This is a card of indecision. Okay, and one more. What else is your advice with indecision and the throat chakra in reverse? Number 27 or 9, walking away. So like, yeah, this is like needing to leave. Like I was saying like a sabbatical, or leaving, or journeying, which was like the hermit, kind of like going on a journey, kind of. That's what he looks like he's doing, kind of, and that goes perfectly to me with walking away. So yeah, because like 9 represents the end of a cycle. So learning how to walk away, and like it's just learning how to free yourself. And maybe with the throat chakra, maybe the words you speak, it's like listening to your inner dialogue. Are you using words that make you feel bound and trapped, like saying like things never work out for me, like listening to your limiting beliefs? Otherwise, it's like walking away from this energy of entrapment is what I feel. Yeah, there is this energy of like being at a crossroads and not knowing which direction to go. But like use your voice wisely. And then underneath the deck is Door to Romance, number 33. So this is saying like, like, and there's another key here. There was a key on the strategy card, and then there's like a little lock here. So I like that. Like this is also like, but that's what I was picking up was like, following your heart, like following love, like, and then underneath that was the second chakra, Archangel Ariel, and this is about creativity, intimacy, closeness, relationships. Yeah, and this is also an energy of like passion and sensuality, kind of like the Nine of Pentacles there, and like really exploring your emotions. It's a card of emotions. This card is actually, or the sacral chakra's element is actually water, so that's very important to connect to water this week, to learn how to kind of like go with the flow, so you're not so like rigid or feeling stuck, because like rigidity or like stagnancy or like anxiety, that's like an imbalance of our masculine energy. So if we're feeling any anxiety, if we're feeling any indecision, if we're feeling any like this energy of like on the fence, or like I said, rigidity or anxiety, or we want to control, that's when we need to balance more with being more nurturing and loving and listening to our heart space, and really actually cultivating more of our feminine energy. And as we begin to do that, we begin to trust more. And then when we trust, we can take more decisive action, and we can, we have more confidence because we don't have so much anxiety or self-doubt, because we trust ourselves, and we're acting from that state of trust and from that energy of like support, because this is like a card of like abundance, like I said, like being grateful and feeling fruitful. Okay, then I'm going to get an overall message here. All right, from Chakra Insights, what is the overall message for us this week, Spirit? That one. Too funny. Okay, so we got communication, number 34. It says self-expression, exchange, and sharing connection. There's like a lotus flower. There's a full moon. There's a dove. There's a koi fish, because that's so funny because I was seeing fish in my third eye. There's birds. When I was channeling my written message. So I'll read this one to you, and it's the color blue, and this is also associated with Archangel Gabriel, the throat chakra. So, get the book out. And I like that there's a man on here communicating too. Because I think that a lot of men are struggling to communicate. And actually, if you look at this from a bigger scale, and like I was talking about like leaders, and like if you look at like some of our leaders and how they communicate right now, like we could be solving a lot more of our world problems with healthier communication, especially from our leaders. But if our young men didn't have a good example of how to communicate with confidence and with understanding and empathy and compassion, then they're going to be like harsh and rigid, and they're going to be overly masculine, and it's going to create like a lot, like, so that's why like a lot of our leaders are, even if we aren't conscious of it, they're really leading from a space of fear, from a place, because they're leading from their minds, they're not leading from their heart space. So if our leaders were more connected to their heart space, especially as men, we wouldn't have to have as many wars, and we wouldn't have to battle, that's kind of like this, we wouldn't have to battle each other, because we would be able to solve our problems with healthy communication. Hello 2020, we're shifting into a new paradigm where we can use our communication to solve world problems. What a concept, right? Man, how did it take us this long to get here? But no joke, I'm a Gemini too, so communication is kind of my thing, and I used to communicate really harshly. So by learning, and this goes perfect with the reading, because like it's that inner dialogue. If you're talking very harshly to yourself, listen to where you're talking harshly to yourself, because if that's how you talk to yourself, that's how you're going to talk to other people, that's how you're going to come across, that's how you're going to communicate. So as we begin to communicate to ourselves more compassionately and with more kindness and with more empathy, then that's how we're going to speak to other people. And how you speak to people can really change people's how they feel about themselves, And okay, so this is number 34, communication. Listen to what your soul is saying to you. Communicate and share this in the world. Whether we realize it or not, we are all in constant communication with life and the world around us. not only in what we say, but in our body language, tonality, facial expressions, and movement. We communicate far more than most of us realize. In fact, the words we speak only make up a very small percentage of what we communicate out into the world each day. This card is an invitation to come into alignment, inside and out, with what you really want to say in life. Take time to get clear within yourself first. That's what the Hermit is giving us, an opportunity to go within, to get clear within ourselves first, so that we don't communicate from this place of like confusion or stagnancy. Become conscious of what your soul wishes to express. Then open your perception, that's totally the Hanged Man, like I said, shift your perception, to the many ways that you may be able to communicate that clarity. If you find it hard to verbalize what you really want to say, this card encourages you to practice expressing yourself out loud and in other ways. One way that you can really do this, and that I've done, well, one, I just talk to myself out loud. To the point now where I go on walks in public and I'm like, shoot, I'm catching myself talking out loud to myself. But also in the mirror, like, start off with positive affirmations like, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am smart, I am loving, I am caring, I am open, I am expressive. You can do this by looking in the mirror and saying those things to yourself. Take a moment to pause before speaking and practice slowing down your breath so that you are calm and able to clearly connect with what you most want to express. You may even choose to write a letter to someone or to put down your thoughts in writing before you speak. And that's awesome, because I was saying that like it's a great week to journal, because it says journal log on this card. Pay attention to the way you speak and the way you express yourself. Choose to value your words and your opinions, and then others will value them too. Exactly. The essence of communicating is all about our connection with other people. Be open to speaking up about your opinions and your beliefs. Acknowledge responsibility for expressing yourself and your needs to others. Balanced communication is also about being patient. That was totally what I was feeling with the Nine of Pentacles. Accepting and willing to listen to the words and actions of others, and to what is being expressed in the subtle moments and exchanges of life. It is here in the quiet gap between the words that the deepest truths are revealed. Listen to what's going on around you, in your family, community, and the world. Choose to genuinely engage and be actively involved in conversations. Choose to communicate consciously. Amen. And guess what, guys? It's Mercury retrograde. It's so funny, because that's all about like communication and like really learning to observe yourself while you communicate. And so, like, if you find yourself wanting to communicate from like aggression or anger, like observe yourself, and instead of acting from it, care for yourself in it. Be that Nine of Pentacles. This resonates for both men and women. Like, be that person for yourself. Be that person that shows up for you, because who else is going to do it? And instead of lashing out on yourself, if you want to communicate from aggression or anger, or you're mad, sit with yourself. Be in the silence. Be in the discomfort of your anger. Be in the discomfort of, that frustration and that stuck energy, and allow it to pass. And then you'll find that, like, most of the time, those feelings that you have, like, they're just fleeting. But what you can do with them is alchemize them, like I was saying, being an alchemist, and turn them into a creation by like expressing them in a certain way. Like Liz was saying, like to write down your feelings. So if you want to communicate with someone, maybe you have like an ex and you want to communicate to them from this place of like anger, and you're just frustrated and you're mad. Instead of doing that impulsively and acting from that wound, can you take time to be with yourself and give yourself what you need? Whatever you want from somebody else, can you practice giving it to yourself? If you want more love from somebody else, can you practice giving it to yourself? Because not everybody is in the state of where they can give love. Like, the only way that we can give love is if we're residing in the energy of love, if we're feeling very loving. But if you notice that somebody's not feeling very loving towards themselves, they're never going to be able to give that love to you. So how can you provide it for yourself? How can you provide that kindness? Or if you want more compliments from your from your spouse or something, like how can you give yourself more compliments? How can you give more compliments to them? How can you set the example of how you want to be treated? If you want your partner to communicate nicely to you, if you want them to stop calling you names, have you looked at where you are putting yourself down, maybe internally? Maybe you're not voicing these feelings out loud that you have about yourself, but listen to your internal dialogue, and maybe you'll notice how often you're putting yourself down. And can you use your internal communication to shift that dialogue so that when you communicate to others, you're not communicating from this limiting self-belief in yourself, but you're communicating from this place of confidence and from this place of truth and authenticity to who you truly are, and not just how people want you to be so that they feel more comfortable around you, but can you be your truest, most expressive self with confidence and trust in yourself. So that's it. That's it for this week. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it was healing for you. I do private readings, so if you would like to book one with me, I'll leave that information below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll be back next time. Take care.